Hello, this is for Capstone project video recording. I'm going to talk about my research project and give you a little bit of information on that. Okay, so number one, what was my research question and why did I choose this question? So my research question, like the title of my thesis, is International Schools, Claims, Evidence, and Anecdotes. What's real and what's the hype? So when you look at international schools as a parent, you're going to be getting a lot of information coming at you really fast. You go to a website and it's filled with all of these affiliations and accreditations, and you see all these logos and stickers of IB, CIS, AP, and all this stuff. And so as a parent, it's very confusing on what to pick. That said, as a new educator, as an educator that's just getting into the international school system, the same thing can apply. There's so much information, and there's not really any kind of consensus on um, like like what's real and like what is being overhyped. Conversely, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence and a lot of general information that's floating around on the internet that kind of can contradict or can make this seemingly beautiful facade of international school websites kind of disappear. So what do what do you look at? Do you look at what's the established information on the website? Do you read all the negativity online? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring together these individual threads of overhype and criticisms, and I'm trying to portray some kind of like clear picture as to what's real or what's true. So what did I learn about my literature review than what is already known? So a lot of the benefits of international schools have been firmly established, but only for those who are talking about a very specific curriculum. So if we're talking about the AP or the IB or the Cambridge International Education, there's a lot of established information, a lot of research, a lot of data that we can go on. However, the concept of international schools themselves can vary widely from like outside of an established curriculum or framework. So that was something that I learned from the literature review. How did I go about investigating this question? All right, so like I said, I took some generalized information from like some anecdotal evidence, some claims and assertions that are found through other international school workers and like online information, and then I compare that to what do we see on the websites. What's all this positive information? I put those together and moved them off to the side, and then I did a very short case study on a school in operation, and then I put that on the side. And then I did a poll of those working at that school. So here we have this information, positive and negative, about international schools. We then have a very short case study about a school, and then we have the teachers working in that school. What do they feel about these different criteria? And we kind of mushed all that information together to get a better picture of it. The location of this was done in Sochogu, Korea. I can't give away the name of my school; it's confidential. The population of the school is about 100 students and about 25 educators or so. The challenges in carrying out my research is I did not think that the school in question would have as many problems as they did. They want to keep a lot of this information under their hat. And so it was ultimately frustrating when I asked about, like, say, basic operating cost or about general information about the school that is relatively public or not too hard to track down. And so I ended up changing the thesis a couple of times. So I finally got to this one, and they were accepting of me passing out the survey and the poll and whatnot. So in the results were mixed. So me as an educator and someone who's working in international schools, I thought some very specific things. The research that was out there, helped me understand, some of the preconceptions that I had. But for the most part, taking together the actual situation on the ground and the poll, and then the positive negative evidence, there was no clear results. It was kind of all over the place. So I think maybe some of my methodology was off. Maybe my questions could have been worded differently, or maybe I could have looked at different, different aspects. But otherwise, like I was unhappy with the results because I was expecting some pretty clear results. So summarize the analysis. Summarize the analysis of your results. Yeah, I think I just basically did that. Next steps. If I were to continue this research or another researcher were to take it up, what would I do? Okay, so this is the interesting thing. I think going through what I was talking about, like some of the headings, they were too vague for the poll. And so when I went to poll, and when I got the results of the poll back, the questions were varied. And I don't think there was good enough evidence or good enough data to actually to pinpoint results. I'm not saying that it wasn't the results that I wanted, but the results that I got were a little vague. And so I would learn a little bit more about how to kind of tighten the questions for the people who are being polled. Because I got 14 respondents out of 25, which is good. I think it's over half, but I still don't think it's large enough to pull any conclusive data from. Like I said, as the results were relatively skewed. So, right, well, I think this concludes the video of my capstone research project. See you in class.